Welcome back to the side table. This is episode 24.
24.
If I've been changing it correctly.
You have.
What's been going on, Joshua, since last time we spoke? Because we only speak when we record this podcast.
That's right.
Make it, more organic.
There is no other communication. We've completely socially quarantined ourselves from one another in between episodes.
Yes, we method podcast. You might have heard of method acting. We method podcast. So our, like I said, conversations are more genuine
And organic and dynamic.
Yes, mostly dynamic, but it's to keep it interesting, So we're surprised. So my reactions aren't like, oh wow, okay, cool.
And then you're going to be totally surprised to hear that I've been cooking.
Oh wow, really? Cooking?
I know.
Food. Wow.
First time you've heard. This morning I made some quiches for breakfast again. Those were delicious.
Ooh, you made quiche? How long did that take?
The baking process is about 40 minutes for these.
Wow, that's pretty long.
It is, because it's basically you're making like a custard pie.
Ooh, that sounds good too.
Right. You can make it a lot shorter if you do it in like muffin tins. But basically I just bought like fresh pre-made pie crust. It's just like an egg and milk custard, and then I've got some bacon in there, some spinach, some hash browns, some onion.
Oh my god,
I think that's pretty much
awesome.
It. Oh, it was amazing.
I don't know if I've ever had. I am adjusting this mic live. Sorry.
You're gonna make me do more work.
I am.
I'm leaving it in.
Motherfucker. There we go. I just want to sit back and just chill out. That's all I want.
I understand.
Mike, okay? There we go. All right. So what I was going to say was I don't think I've ever had quiche with, did you say hash browns?
I did.
Potatoes?
Yep.
Never had it with that in there. That sounds awesome.
It's just like an extra filler. I just basically took the frozen pre-made hash browns you can get and just sprinkled those in already frozen.
Oh, wow.
Just for a little extra substance.
We recently finally bought our first bag of potatoes because I don't know why we haven't done that before.
You get so many options with potatoes.
I know. And Sarah was making, homemade fries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of them just rotted immediately and caused the whole bag to
go bad.
And it happened within a week.
It's possible you bought one with a potato in there that was already kind of going bad.
Oh.
And then
she did get it from Kroger, so
And then generally you want to keep it in like a dry, damp. I don't know if you're supposed to keep them in dry or damp places. But then keep them away from the onions as well.
Okay.
Because those will make them go bad quicker.
We think that there's just a lot of moisture gets in here, I think.
That could very well be.
To be completely honest. I don't know where from, but I think it impacts my allergies because I have a hard time breathing, and it's not COVID.
I swear I'm not infected.
It's really hard to breathe, and I can't breathe through my nose. Like, I've never been able to properly breathe through my nose, but now it's just worse.
Not since the accident.
The incident.
The incident.
Dun, dun, dun.
Patrick, tell us about the incident that made it so you could never breathe through your nose.
Well, I fought a tiger once.
That's how all of your incident stories start.
Well, so there's this man, you might have heard of him. Joe Tiger King, you might have heard of him.
I've never heard of him, no.
I went and checked out his zoo.
Mm-hmm.
He approached me and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And I said, "I don't like you." And he told me to fight a tiger because I wanted to prove to him that tigers don't belong in cages. And so the tiger smacked me in the nose and then said, "They're great," and then ran off.
Dude, you fought Tony the Tiger.
I did. I really did. It was quite intense. It was very scary, and I'm surprised it didn't make it onto the Netflix show.
You think that would be a highlight?
You think so? You think it would be something against, the Tiger King? But I can't dictate what's shown on Netflix.
Right?
I mean,
They
come
have
on.
creative differences.
Yeah, So it is what it is, I guess. So, yeah.
Back to the cooking. I made some hot Nashville chicken that I didn't send a picture of to Patrick yesterday
Oh, that
because
looked,
we're
I mean,
method podcasting.
yes, that didn't look so good.
That stuff came out really good. I started with like a whole chicken and, cut it up into its like, I think you do like 10 pieces or whatever.
It had like the perfect crisp on it. It was golden brown. And for the video portion of this podcast, throw up a picture for it. You have to see
Okay,
it.
I'll throw up some pictures for it.
It that golden brown that potato wedges get?
Yeah.
That's what this chicken had. And I just was so sad that I was not there.
Don't worry,
to
I'll
eat
mail
it.
some to you.
Oh, thank you. Your alcohol should be on its way. If it's as long as I've waited for one of Sarah's birthday gifts, it might be a
Any
hot
year
minute.
now.
Yeah. So
Speaking
So
of
it's
being
coming.
a hot minute for ordering stuff, I don't know if you've purchased anything recently, but anything that comes out of China is taking forever.
oh, I believe it. What'd you order from China?
Well, the
Little
one in
boy?
specific. What didn't I order? I ordered some replacement fans for the graphics card on Ashley's graphics card because they sound like they're dying. And they're specific fans, so you can't just grab whatever. And I ordered this on February 29th. And,
Whoa,
right.
dang.
And so shipping from there usually takes, 3 to 5 weeks depending. So they're like, at the very latest it'll be April 17th.
Jeez.
And as you can see, April 17th has come and gone.
It has.
And their tracking information shows absolutely nothing. So I'm kind of waiting to hear back on that.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah. Mine hasn't been that long. It's just, I ordered Sarah's gift from this individual.
Mm-hmm.
I can't mention where because she's chosen to sit next to me. But it was a site that, ordered off of before. It's not Amazon.
I know it came from.
Oh, it came from Etsy?
Yes.
Oh, it came from Etsy.
Million different sellers on Etsy. It's not like I'm gonna be able to find what you bought.
It,
She is. She's getting on there right now.
I know she is. It sounds like something she'd do.
I'm not gonna look.
I don't care. The individual, took my money out of my account. Like, I paid for it, and I had bought.
You had bought.
When that came out of my mouth, I realized I sounded stupid, and I was like, when I bought this Etsy purchase, words.
When you purchased
So
this item on Etsy.
When I purchased this item on Etsy, I purchased two other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when I, bought them, I was sent immediately by the two other sellers a confirmation that the order had started or processed, that the funds would be taken out, blah blah blah, and I was constantly updated. This seller did not do anything at all. They just took my money, and then I didn't pay attention to it at first, but a week went by, and I thought,
I haven't heard anything. Maybe I should check
ha-
in on that.
yeah. So I checked PayPal, and they had, they took the money out, and so I went and looked up their name on Etsy. It didn't show up. I
Ooh.
couldn't find out the name, where it was from. It didn't list on PayPal. It listed the actual individual's name. It didn't list on the receipt where that it just came from Etsy and it was for this person. It didn't list their handle on Etsy. On Etsy, it was not listed in my orders, so I had no idea where it was from. So I had to look it up from how I searched for it. Still couldn't find it. So I'm thinking, did I just get scammed out of X amount of money? It looked legit, it was a number one rated seller, blah blah blah. And I'm just okay, I'll just report this and see if I can get my money back, I guess. And I didn't realize at the time that when you send or do a claim or start whatever with PayPal, it goes to the seller first. And it goes there. She finally messages me back like 5 days later saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. You know, the whole Corona thing has really messed up the shipping thing. Here's the shipping info. I even sent it through Etsy. She didn't send it to me through Etsy. She sent me the tracking info for whatever the postal service is in Mexico, and the tracking number, and that I had to translate the site, submit it, and I have no idea where it is. The last time it was updated was over 20 days ago in some place. I don't even know if it was in a city. Like, is there a state with the initial... Oh, ND? Would that be North Dakota?
That would be.
I think it was ND. So it's somewhere in North Dakota right now as of the, 6th of April.
Oh, God. So it's
Yeah.
it's lost or non-existent.
Yeah. So I'll give it a couple days and then I'll be like, yo, I haven't.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Isn't
My
that the
guess
most
is-
frustrating thing?
It is. I think my guess is she just either... Well, she had to have gotten a tracking number, so she actually went to, the postal service. So she didn't just throw it in her
Maybe.
mailbox and said, ship it off, But I don't know how it works in Mexico. I don't know how that the postal service works.
Well, it's possible she didn't even give you your tracking number, and she just gave you a tracking number. Because I have a related story.
Okay, hit me.
So I wanted to get some new ear pads for my headphones, the ear cup replacements, because I had stolen them from my other set.
Mm-hmm. I need to order those.
And so I
Now
had
that you
this
mention it.
$25 American Express gift card I had gotten for my birthday from Caleb and Caitlin. And I originally tried to use that on that USB 3 hub that we talked about previously that ended up being dead on arrival.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And so I get that refund. And I'm like, all right, I'll use it to buy these ear cups. And so I'm on eBay. I'm like, all right, here's this. The seller has good ratings because I always got to check that.
Uh-huh.
Hit that buy button. And I can't remember. Oh, so yeah, I had ordered it. It would have been on the 10th. And so I get a notification on the 15th that, hey, UPS has delivered this. I'm like, that's weird. I've obviously been home. UPS hasn't been here. Let me check this tracking information. So I look it up, and immediately the kind of first red flag is it says there are two packages in the shipment. I'm like, I sure didn't order two things.
Yep.
And also UPS lists the weight and then where they left it and who they left it with. So both of these packages are 30 pounds plus.
Oh, wow.
Another big red flag. And then it says they were left at the dock. I don't know if you know, but I don't have a shipping dock at my home,
Yeah, I didn't
despite how many
realize.
things I do order sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And then it was left with a person named Hobbs. So I'm like, oh, great. Super.
That just happened?
Yes, this just happened on the 15th.
That's awful.
Today is the
I'm
21st.
sorry.
So I messaged the seller. I'm like, hey, this clearly isn't my shipping number. This clearly is the wrong weight.
Sarah.
And clearly was dropped off to somebody who's not me at a shipping dock that is not at my house. And so,
What the
right. So the eBay seller finally replies, and they're like, yeah, it looks like this was shipped out on December 20th. If you have any issues with it, eBay buyer protection will cover you. I'm like, what?
December 20th?
Right? I'm like, there's no way that's possible. I ordered this on the 10th of April. And then they just
Uh-huh.
replied with the same exact message again.
Oh, my God.
So I opened up an eBay case, and they're like, hey, you have to give them 4 days, and if after that, we'll step in. I'm like, cool. And then I get an email this morning. So the item you bought has been removed from eBay because there was something wrong with the seller's store. Seller is now banned from eBay.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Right. So at the end of the day, I'll get it all. But looking at the feedback then that had come in just the last couple weeks on the account is they were giving out fake tracking numbers that were being delivered to the same city, but to
Oh.
different people for legitimate packages, because you can't see what address it was delivered to, only the zip code.
Oh, that's messed up.
Right.
That's really messed up. And that I just hate dealing with this stuff. I mean, you just want to like trust that it'll just work out perfectly. And for the most
Exactly.
part it does,
It
but
does.
I feel like it's 70-30, a 70-30 split, because I swear I haven't had that many issues. I've had maybe like one or two that I can recall, this one being one. But you have had so many issues.
I've had probably a good like half dozen story issues, but
Yeah,
at the same
that
time, I order a lot of little things here and there.
uh-huh.
So I'd say that 70-30 number is probably, or like an 80-20.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of like when people still, like older people still rely, and some younger people too, rely on using checks to pay bills. Like they actually write out on a piece of paper that has their account number, their routing number, basically their whole life outside a social security number on a piece of paper, and then trust the postal service will get it to where it needs to go.
Oh man.
That always blows my mind, especially when I used to work at the credit union and members came in just like, I think my account's been hacked or whatever. I'm like, do you use checks? Yeah. Do you send them in the mail? Yeah. Well, maybe you should try not doing that for a hot minute. And
Even
it
online
just,
payments aren't always secure, but
yeah.
checks just seem bad both from the user and the accepting standpoint. You have
Oh
no way to
yeah.
verify a check.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like you said,
Like,
it has all your account numbers, your signature on it, your
oh yeah.
address.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Phone number in some
in
cases.
some cases, yep.
But the amount of, and I'm saying this because I used to work at a credit union, so I am entitled to say this, is if you have an option to not use checks, don't use checks. Please do not use checks. You could use, the next best thing would be a cashier's check or a money order. I would recommend using a money order over a cashier's check, depending on the amount, because money orders can only go so high. Try using money order first, because a cashier's check cannot be tracked for 60 days after its issue.
And for
That's-
the most part, of like handling cash, right?
Yeah, and that's by that. Wait, say what you said. Did you say handling?
It's
I
basically
just-
like having cash.
Yeah. So even if you come in with a cashier's check, it still needs to be verified, blah, blah, blah. But once that cashier's check has been issued and you sent it off and it gets lost in the mail, you have to wait 60 days in order to do anything about it. That's by law. That is a federal law, I believe. At least a state law here. So we'll just say it's a state law in Michigan. So check with.
It's likely a
where-
federal law since
Yeah.
all banks are federally insured.
So just FYI, for individuals who are doing that, again, try money orders first. I know money orders can only go to a certain amount. At the credit union, they only went up to 1,000. I don't know what it's like for other banks. Some go higher, like Western Union, the money order whatever place. I think they go higher, at least to like 15. But again, I highly recommend not using those. But money orders and cashier's checks, especially money orders, are more traceable than checks and cash and that. So just FYI, a little banking knowledge right there.
That's what you came for the video game discussion and stayed for the financial advice.
Oh yes, invest in Apple. It's going up. It's going
Dude.
up. Buy.
It probably is going up with their iPhone SE price announcement.
Oh, is that the 400 one?
Yeah, it was like the brand new $400 iPhone. I think that's the cheapest a new iPhone has ever been.
I think you're correct, actually. Like, I'm pretty sure that seems accurate. I haven't looked at the phone. You told me it looked nice.
I mean, it looks exactly like the iPhone 8, so it has like the old home button and everything,
Okay.
but it's running on, all the newest chips and has like decent cameras and everything.
Ooh.
And then it's Apple, so they'll probably support it with software updates for 5 years.
That's pretty nice.
It is.
These, okay, so bird update. Bird update. My bird Arthur, who is the common greckle. I don't know if we decided that. Was that in the last episode of the podcast, or was that when we recorded trivia?
I believe we discussed Arthur in Bloodborne trivia.
Okay.
Soon to come out
Yes.
at a
It will
YouTube
be-
near you.
Yes. So line up at your YouTube, your nearest YouTube.
Just make sure you stand 6 feet apart.
Yes. Or on top of each other. No, don't do that. Anyway, Arthur, there was a debate between Sarah and I that there were two Arthurs, and one was Arnold, one was Arthur. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's just Arthur, and we just see him all the time, and you wanted to name a bird, so you made the second bird in your mind. That was my thought process. And last night, well, late afternoon, I saw Arthur attack the bird feeder like he has been doing constantly today, especially during my meetings, banging it into the window.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, it's been nuts. I decided to follow where he flies off to, so I turned into a bird myself and hopped out the window and flew. And I said, "Arthur, wait up!" And he didn't wait up for me, but I saw him fly to a tree where there was a second bird shape, and so I whipped out my binoculars, aka my creeper peepers, and
Your neighbors must love you.
and thankfully I can't see them, so I threw the binoculars up, looked out, and there's a second Arthur, so there is an Arnold. But further update, this morning, as Arthur and Arnold were attacking the bird feeder and going ape on it, a third one showed up and was watching from the patio, looking up, just thinking those two are complete idiots. So there are three common greckles, and I am leaning towards the fence of they are a territorial aggressive bird, I'm going to say. I think they're
birds
just,
can be.
yeah, like they were kind of hovering around the bird feeder for a little bit, just kind of totally just yelling back off at any of the other birds, and the other birds would you could see the other birds flying towards the bird feeder, but then immediately do like
nope.
nope, immediate curve. And then when we were video calling, when I was video calling Joshua and Ashley the other day, one was literally gripping on the corner. One of the
the bricks.
yeah, was gripping on the corner, just watching the bird feeder. This was either Arthur, Arnold, or the third one.
Or are you just saying all the common greckles look the same?
Are
you
just like,
birdist?
I am actually, and he was just like creepy Spider-Manning. And then another time when I was recording on Saturday, Arthur Arnold was trying to figure out how to break in here. Like he was scoping it out.
You gotta
think
be
they're trying
careful.
to
They're
take
gonna
over.
steal stuff.
Those common greckles.
I know.
You know.
All they want to
They
do is
should-
steal things.
Oh yeah, and break things. Though, I do have to say, I started playing Death Stranding again. I picked it up yesterday, and most of yesterday we had the window cracked open, and sliding door cracked open, and so this is like getting close to midnight, and I'm in a part where there's like a lot of rain coming down, or as they call it, time fall. A lot of time fall coming down. Oh yeah. And I'm hearing it, and it like picks up, and like the wind, and I'm like, wow, it's like, this is so real. I can almost feel it. And I'm like, holy moly. And so then I like look over, and the door is open, and there's just like wind and rain coming
Rushing
in. I'm
in.
like, whoa, holy shit. And so I slammed the door shut, and oh, it was funny. I had to take the bird feeder down. It like just picked up immediately, like just went from there was no wind, no rain to just immediate just shitstorm, just tearing up my patio.
We didn't get much in the way of rain, but it was really windy last night here too.
Oh, was it? Okay. I don't know if it's just because I've been home more and I'm like near a window so I can see the weather, but I swear down here the weather is just nuts. Like it's completely nuts. Like even more so than in Big Rapids. And I think that might be because isn't Big Rapids like in a valley of sorts?
It is, yeah. It's in a valley.
So that doesn't that make the weather kind of consistent or constant at least?
I think there's some meteorological thing that makes it a little bit more temperate.
And I just I don't know what it is. Like I swear it rains and storms here more than Big Rap. I don't know.
I think so. You guys ended up with more snow last week too.
Oh yeah, it snowed for like 3 days here.
Yeah, we just
And
got dustings.
Yeah, then it's gone. Like it's nuts. I don't get it. But what video games you been playing, Joshua? How's your video game life? So tell me about your video game life.
Oh, you know.
Nobody's gonna get that.
I got it.
So tell me about your video game life.
Well, I've been meaning to finish Pokemon, but that hasn't happened. So instead, I started a Bloodborne character.
Joshua, are you in an abusive relationship?
Yes.
You need me to step in?
No, I need you to help me.
Back off. That's what I'll tell him.
No, so I figured I'd make a couple of really, well, not really, but somewhat low-level Bloodborne characters to either PvP or to summon in for people's boss helping, just as a way to mix things up.
Uh-huh.
So I'm shooting for like kind of soul level 50-ish, and I'm gonna do a general strength build. I don't know which weapons yet, but
Uh-huh.
like you said, that's one of the ones we haven't done. And then I'm gonna do another lower level, like 50 to 70 arcane build, just so I can. Because apparently that lower like 40 to 70 area is where most people are PvPing.
Oh, 4070 area? Really?
Yeah. I've seen people. I guess 120 is more for like Nightmare of Mensis area and Chalice dungeons.
Oh.
So I figured I'd roll a couple of those lower guys and see if I can get good and maybe even beat the game at those levels.
Oh, see, this is why okay. So I have an issue with like starting a game, and if it doesn't like hold my
Attention, just dropping it immediately.
attention, I'll drop it. But the issue that I'm referring to is it lingers in my mind that I have to beat it or I have to finish it, and it takes forever for that thought to go away. And I had that issue and have that issue with Death Stranding. It's good. It's really good. It's really, really good. But the gameplay is so specific, and if you're not in the mood for it, or if you're not willing to warm up to it and accept it, it's really hard to finish and continue. But the story, everything is so good about that game. It's so good. But I decided to sit down and try finishing it because all I want to do is I just want to play Bloodborne. I just want to play. I want to platinum it, and then I just want to have do what you're doing, like do these challenge runs, get good at the game, have that freedom to do that. I want that so bad, and just Death Stranding is in the way at the moment.
I can just imagine you. You're sitting there on the couch. You're playing Bloodborne. You're going away at it.
Okay.
And you glance over towards the sliding glass door.
Yeah.
You think you see something. There, peering his face over the side into the window, is the Death Stranding character, mouthing, come play with me.
Just Norman Reedus like, hey, sup, dude?
Yeah,
I'm like,
what's
oh,
up?
fuck. What's up, dude? Play with me. Oh, shit. No, if there was a character from Death Stranding in real life and it was watching me, I would be terrified. There's some creepy there's some creepy shit in that game. There is some creepy stuff, and I'm getting to like the good meat of the story. I'm over halfway through.
Ooh.
Because my thing is I'll finish up my bit on Death Stranding, then we can go back to your Bloodborne stuff.
I didn't have any more.
So with Death Stranding, you are a postal service worker. Speaking of the mail. So that's why I've been, nice and kind to this Etsy sellers. I've been in their shoes. I know. I've been in the postal service shoes. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be on the road, away from your family, for hours during the day.
So you mean like going to work?
fighting through COVID, I know Josh would. You wouldn't understand. You haven't lived a life of a postal worker
All right.
like I have, and you keep chugging along. You have your main deliveries that help progress the story, progress your life, you might say. And
Nobody says that.
and then I always go in with the I'll just do the main story. I'll just do the main story.
Or we both
yesterday
know
was-
you can't do the main story of anything.
I know. That was my failure.
I have to complete every side
Yes.
mission available.
Yeah, and so like you'll go to an area, so it's kind of like divided into areas of the US, and you'll go to an area and there will be 3 key places you're going to be delivering to throughout like that chunk of the game. And you'll first connect them to the chiral network, that's like the internet for them. You'll go there, and once you connect them, they're like, oh, I have some deliveries you could do. Then you notice that the deliveries go to either the main place that you just came from, like the main hub of that area, or one of the future areas you're going to be traveling to. So you're like, okay, I'll take that. Might as well knock it out, because this is how you get some of the upgrades.
Hit
as you
2
do that.
Greckles with 1 stone, as they say.
Yeah, hit 2 Greckles with exactly. Beautiful analogy. And you'll drive, deliver, drop off, connect the chiral network, drop off this extra thing for them. Then they're like, oh, hey, I have deliveries too. And you're like, well, that is, I guess, kind of on the way back. I'll do that. And so you do that. And then you realize that, like, you're just running back and forth, literally. And then it becomes a lot, because the first area especially is you're walking the whole time. And it's huge. The game is huge map-wise. It's huge. It's gorgeous. It's for the most part
That's what she
empty of things to interact. It's huge. It's gorgeous. Oh, get ready. And it's massive, and you'll be. Thanks for. I know I can't take that seriously.
Sorry.
So then you'll stumble up. But like once you think that, though, the game realizes like at this point the player is gonna be like fed up with what they're doing. So then they'll throw in a motorcycle that makes travel faster, and so you can carry more stuff. And then once that's done and that's taken away from you because you move to another area after you make your first delivery, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, here's this car that you can just take. So then you can like load more stuff, and then you literally are like freaking FedEx at that point. And the sense of like progression, and like when you upgrade, like, oh, I got like this robotic suit. Oh, I got level 2. I finally got a gun to fend off things. Like the progression of like getting that is awesome. It feels great. But everything in between, like getting that, and then because you don't know you're going to be rewarded at the end of this quest, it's just deliver this stuff. In between that, you're just like, oh god, I gotta do this, But once you get like the car, once you're able to craft motorcycles, the whole game kind of opens up, because as I mentioned before, it kind of has like the Dark Souls element of co-op, where the other players can interact with your world.
And then there's the like note item things.
Yeah, so like they'll make roads. Like people have made roads to over specific enemy camps and stuff, so everything's connected. So everyone who's been playing Death Stranding has basically made their own highway network that is now in the game that any player can use.
So not only are you a postal worker, you're now a member of the road commission.
Oh yeah, and we keep it clean. When you're on the road, your vehicle is always charged, so you don't drain your battery. Electric is the future.
How are the potholes?
Go Tesla. What?
How are the potholes?
The potholes, when you do hit a hole in this game, the driving controls do suck. You do end up getting very pissed off if you're not driving on flat ground.
Oh.
Let me tell you that right now. The car, since it's a car, it's heavier, it's more sturdy. It definitely drives a lot better, but the motorcycle, it's awful. It's real bad. It's real bad.
Now with the car, since you're a postal worker, is it a right-hand drive vehicle?
No, it's the left hand.
Oh.
Well, okay, there's 2 kinds of cars. There's one that like your company provides, which I haven't used, and the one I stole and rescued from the mules, which are these people that steal packages. So I'm using that card because I freed it. So
Gotcha.
I can't ditch it, you know. But the other ones are probably a lot better. But I
But
can't
this
ditch
stolen
it.
piece of junk, it's good.
It's stuck to me. It's literally stuck to me. But and another my other complaint or criticism is the soundtrack in the game is excellent. So there's like the OST that is made for the game, but then there's all these licensed songs that the game got that they use throughout the game. Like while you're walking, they'll start playing one of these licensed songs, and it fits in so well. It's like, like when you watch Game of Thrones or one of the more or one of the earlier or one of the more current Alien movies, they always start with these giant, like these cinematic long shots of just nature, of these mountains, you know,
Right.
and it cuts to these and it has like this very almost like ethereal sound that just kind of like fades into view and kind of resonates that to kind of make like an echo to make like the area more grand and massive and kind of daunting. Like it has that sound that just makes the vastness bigger. You know what kind of music? If anyone gets that, then please, thank you. But it's that kind of music that'll like just randomly play with like these haunting lyrics in that while you're walking, and it's beautiful. So you end up collecting all this music when you unlock it like that, and you can play it back in your main cabin, back at any main hub in the world, but you can't play it while you're walking or driving in the world, which is where you spend most of your time. You can't play the music there. And it's so frustrating because the music is so good. Both, again, like I said, the OST and the licensed tracks are so good, but you can't, you think they would have a music player, you know,
In the
like you
car.
think you think you would listen to music or do something. Like I understand not having the music because it brings attention to like the BTs in the game, which are drawn by sound and you know, stuff like that, or like the mules, which are people that, but they got like tech and mind shit to seek you out. Like, let me have my music. Like, let me have it. It's so good. The music is so good.
And so your time in the game is just you back at your cabin or the main hub, just listening to music, isn't it?
Not as much as I'd like, to be completely honest with you. But I wish. The music is so good. It's so good. But yeah, no, that's all I got on Death Stranding. It's a phenomenal game. I can't wait to finish it. But I don't know if I'll play that or Bloodborne tonight. I really want to play Bloodborne, but I also really want to finish this game. It's up in the air. I'm fucked up on life.
That's such a terrible decision to have to make.
I know. I don't know what to make.
I mean, if you're gonna play Bloodborne, I'll be playing, but don't let
That's
that sway
true.
your decision.
Yeah, right. I still have to edit my. I'm in the middle of editing the current Bloodborne episode. Let me, if any of you who are listening have watched my current Let's Plays the current Pillow Talk episodes I've been putting out. Let me know how they are because I'm trying a different style of editing. It's not just long form where it's just I recorded 20 minutes of me playing a game and just, you know,
Uploaded 20 minutes of you playing the game.
I've cut it up. I usually end up cutting like 10, 15 minutes out of the episodes now to make it snappier. I think funnier and more entertaining. Let me know how it is because I like both. I see the advantages to both, but I've been watching a streamer a lot, and I think like long form, like what I used to be doing, should stick with streaming. You know, you
It's a
should
little
stick to
bit
streaming.
More
Yeah.
appropriate for that format.
But let me know how you what you think of it. I'm curious. Did you like my thumbnail I sent you, by the way?
When did you send me a thumbnail?
Oh, you didn't see my thumbnail? Pull up your phone. Do it.
Oh, you messaged me?
Yeah.
When?
It was early this morning.
Earlier this morning? Oh, I didn't even realize that. How did I miss that?
I don't know. You just weren't paying attention to me.
I do like it though. That's
It took an hour. Throw that up there.
yeah. I'll remember to do that.
I am telling you right now to do it. Do it right now. And it was funny. It took me 2 hours. Not 2 hours, an hour.
You
2
make
hours.
up
to
your
do it.
mind. Get your story
an hour.
straight.
It was an hour. It was an hour. Trust me. Yeah. No, it was funny though, because there's a bit where in the episode where I just say Alfred, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw up a picture of Alfred, and so I went and did that, and I'm like, what if I just like fucked up his picture, like made it real weird, and I didn't, and then it's in there just like Alfred. It was funny. It was funny, Sarah. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
It was funny. Have you seen it?
Yeah, you showed it. To
Oh,
me.
I was really happy
It
about.
took you 2 hours.
No, I said it took an hour. I did not say 2 hours.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I didn't-
it took him
Sorry, you
3
full of
hours. This just
You
in.
told me.
I said, yeah, 2 hours to edit and then to make the thumbnail.
Thumbnail.
Yeah, Sarah likes to not include a lot of info when she talks, so
No,
she's
you said
usually
it
right.
took you 2 hours to make that thumbnail.
I did not.
And I said, wow, good job.
I did not. Sarah, I'm gonna throw stuff at you
I'm working. Don't do that.
until the neighbors call us or knock on the door and say, "Is everything okay?"
everything okay?
here?" I'm like, yeah, I'm just throwing stuff at Sarah.
He hates me.
Pets. I wanted to talk about pets. I wanted to talk about them mamas.
All right, talk about him.
I was waiting to see how long it would take you to talk.
I just wanted to make sure you were actually still there and you didn't have another problem.
No, so I've always wanted my own pet. I used to have my own pet. Don't have that pet anymore due to stuff. And then I've always again wanted a pet to take care of, to call my own and stuff like that. So I've always been thinking about the adoption process
Mm-hmm.
of pets. This man has a massive beard who's walking right now.
Would you put your creeper peepers away?
They're just my regular eyes.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was just curious what the process was for like well I know some of it, but tell the audience what the process was like adopting or leading up to the point of adopting Sam, your dog.
Oh man.
Like, was there because I want to know for my own sake too, the deep part of it, you know. What was your mindset like? Did you have to get into a certain mindset? What did you do to prep prior to getting the dog? You know, what was the conversations you had? I'm just curious.
Well, post getting the dog, I can say we didn't prepare nearly enough.
Oh, really?
Yes. So we didn't adopt him from a shelter or anything, for those who are wondering. We got him from a breeder, somewhat in the area, actually closer to you.
Really?
So we didn't have to go through any of like the adoption process that most what would
People have to go through.
most
Or-
shelters that you would have to go through, which for some can be pretty intense.
Oh yeah.
So that was one nice thing there, and just some of the things that we didn't think of right away, of like getting an appropriately sized bed for the dog. And the dog he grew pretty quickly, so he started at like a 10 or a 15-pound dog, and
He's a puppy too.
right when he was a puppy, and he's now sitting at just shy of 100 pounds, and it's not because he's fat. And so just having appropriately sized like crates, we borrowed a couple from my sister, but eventually we had to buy a bigger one just because he would grow through that so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then just having beds for them to lay on is a bonus, just because otherwise they can get like sore spots on their legs from just laying right on like hardwood floor or carpet. But he has a tendency to chew on soft things, so just like a nice big fluffy bed isn't going to work for him. So we've got one that is kind of like, it's got like a steel frame with some mesh like hammocky fabric in it.
Ooh, that sounds relaxing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what one you're talking about.
Yep.
I pictured I pictured a hammock, a completely different thing. I was
Oh.
just like, oh, dog hammock, nice.
Right. And then the other thing was just like having a nice well, at least in our case, since we do have a yard, having a nice fenced-in yard area. We didn't have any fencing around the yard prior, and didn't really cross our minds to plan for. So there's kind of a temporary fence up now, and eventually here we'll have to go like a more permanent. We're probably planning on like you can get like the black coated chain link fences.
Ooh.
So they look just a little bit nicer. Just working on stuff like that, and then making sure you have the time to, when they're younger, train them and train them every day. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that's more of like
yeah.
a puppy thing.
Uh-huh.
Whereas if you're adopting an older dog, that
Won't be
depending on how they were
as-
raised,
Yeah.
wouldn't be as bad. And then
What about? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say there was a long lead up to actually getting the dog. I think because we had been living here for about a year, and Ashley kept making mention of, wanting a dog, and the downside, I guess, to getting a dog is it requires everyone who's living there to be on board, because not everyone is always going to be available to take the dog outside for, a walk, to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
to just hang out outside, because that's what dogs want to do.
Yeah.
And then, keep on top and just, feeding them regularly, and make sure you're measuring how much you feed them.
That what about when you first got Sam and the lifestyle change, because you're going from just chilling with cats to this massive beast who wants to constantly
Do
be
something.
moving. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the biggest change that even now is a bit of a struggle is gone are the days of being able to sit down and work on something for an hour or two uninterrupted.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's early in the morning or late at night and he's pretty tired, and he'll just lay there for a while. But if I wanted to do a long edit of a video, I am going to be getting up a couple times throughout just to take him out or pet him or feed him.
Or do something.
Right. So that's probably the biggest lifestyle change there. But when we first got him, he would pretty much chew on anything he could find and had to pee every 20 minutes. And, it was 8 weeks old, so wasn't potty trained yet. So it moved from a lot of me sitting at my computer to sitting out on the couch and using the PlayStation and just being next to the door so I could quickly scoop him up and take him outside
And throw him outside.
or keep him
Yeah, I
from
just-
eating something.
Yeah. I was just, how did you decide with Ashley to wait a certain length to get a dog, or you just were just kind of like, oh, now's the time, or?
It was more of she really wanted a dog, and so I eventually collapsed. I caved in.
Got ya. See, that's my thing, is I'm like, is it too early to get a dog, or because and I've wanted one, and I know I can handle it. It's just,
Mhm.
well, then you just think of everyone else's opinion, oh, they moved in together and now they have a dog, and now things like that. And it's just should I really be concerned about it, or should I just do it because I want to? But then I'm like, am I just doing it because I just want to, or?
I would definitely be less concerned what they say, but I would also be prepared to never get your apartment deposit back.
That's true. That's very true. No, because I was just thinking about it. I'll occasionally go to the Humane Society's website here.
And see who they have up
and-
for adoption.
Yeah, and our apartment has breed restrictions, unfortunately. But this past week specifically, I've noticed this guy or couple. I think there was another individual with them. This individual was walking around and had two pit bull terriers with him, and third pit bulls are obviously not allowed here because people think they're a violent dog. And I'm like, okay, if they live here and they have two of those dogs, then because the whole thing with the Humane Society is most of the dogs they have for adoption are pit bull terriers.
Right.
And that's like the local place, and I trust them, and I emailed the whatever you'd call the admin team of Ridgewood
property managers.
Yeah, the property manager. I'm like, so what's the process of adopting? And I haven't heard back, but I hope too soon. I'm curious what the process is prior to. I don't know if I'll actually start adopt a dog right away. I don't know. I really don't know. What's the financial burden of it like?
Not too terrible. The vet bills are probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Especially as you get into a bigger dog. I think getting Sammy fixed, and then he's part Pyrenees, so he has rear dew claws that were only partially attached, and so they recommended removing those at the same time, just so it doesn't become an emergency later. He still has the dew claws on his front paws because those are fully functional and attached.
Yeah.
But I think that cost almost $300.
Oh wow.
And then food's obviously a cost. I think the bag of food we get, I think it runs like $50, and then that's something we get probably every 2 months.
That's not bad.
Flea and tick stuff, that's about $30 a month. And then just getting things like dog beds and dog food dishes, you can easily spend a couple $100 on that and toys.
Oh yeah.
But most of it's spread out. I'd say he probably costs, assuming no vet bills, like an extra $100 a month.
Okay. I was just curious, just from an individual who recently got a dog, and
Right.
I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about, because now prior to moving down here, didn't realize this was all going to happen. You know,
you didn't have this knowledge beforehand?
I didn't have my countdown timer started. I always miss when to initiate that.
I made a joke with Ashley yesterday, and I said, the Mayan calendar, there must have been a transcription error. It wasn't 2012, it was 2021 that the world's going to end.
And then everyone's just like, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I was walking the other day, and I just was thinking about, if I were to catch this disease and it were to possibly become fatal, would I regret anything in my life? And all the regrets popped up in my head, of course, at that moment.
Right, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure.
Yep. And I'm like, one of the things I've always wanted was to raise a dog and form that bond over years of love and hard work and affection, and that just coming from this animal now. And I was waiting a year because that's what my dad said to do. And I'm like, why am I listening to him? Like, why? I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? I want to help a creature that needs help. I want to be a part of that creature's life. Like, why am I making myself wait that long?
Right.
And I told Sarah the other day, I'm like, there's two things I'm saving up my money for, and then I think I'm good. And that's, I needed a working laptop, which I got for $200, and I want my dog. And depending on what they say back in the email, I'll make my decision on that. But no, thank you for sharing. And for anyone else who needed to know about getting a dog, thank you for sharing, Joshua.
Of course. It's definitely frustrating at times, but he's like the first dog I've really had, because we had the one dog growing up. But she was a little bit different and wasn't really my dog.
Yeah. So you don't have that. Yeah. So you don't have that accountability. That of the animal. I don't know. It's
and
just
I
different.
think Ashley's discovering that accountability thing too.
Oh yeah, and she's like, oh, the novel appeal of the dog has worn off.
No, just that he's far more work than even she thought
She thought he would be. That's like unfortunate, but not at the same time, you know?
No, it's good.
Because all you can do is just improve and be better. Like you're just becoming more responsible, and I mean, you're taking care of a life. You both are. Like that's crazy. So
And then this morning we were both sitting on the couch drinking coffee, and he was sitting next to us, and he had his face on my lap, and it was adorable.
and you're like, oh, this is worth it.
Most of the time.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm leaning towards. I just wanted to hear your opinion, and I appreciate you sharing. Thank you everyone for listening / watching this cluster bomb of an episode.
What are you talking about? We have a fantastic editor, and it definitely won't be a cluster when it's edited.
And he is definitely paid well.
Absolutely the best.
He'll also be receiving the correct thumbnail that was not provided to him.
Have you been providing me with the wrong thumbnail?
Well, you have the halfway correct one. You have like the logo, but I forgot to send you the version of the thumbnail with the red background. That was our. So I updated it on YouTube, and then I will send you that file after this.
Super.
I mean, send our editor that file after this. We actually have our editing done in China. We, what's the word I'm looking for?
Outsource.
We outsourced our editing for our podcast from a Chinese boy. He is 9. Yang, you can say hi if you would like.
Is this like one of those adopt like an animal or sponsor an animal in a faraway country, except it's...
Yeah, it's like Feeding America, but we're making them do work.
Super.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to The Side Table. I'm your host, Patrick the King. This is my friend. He does not have a name. And stay safe, stay healthy, and stay indoors.